I see the world differently than most people. I have an eye condition that alters my depth perception. Sometimes things feel like an optical illusion or appear flat, almost like a picture. I can't really tell the heights of objects or how.
It was very informative. It was really educational, but there was also a lot of heart to it. And getting to hear from the different subjects of this documentary, um, hearing their stories about it and what it means to them, this Capitol building, and yeah, what their favorite things and pieces are, what's the most meaningful to them, really just gave it that personal touch. And I just kept thinking, there's so much heart in this film. There's so much heart, and I feel like you can really feel that radiating throughout the stories and the reminiscing, just the respect that people have for this. I also really liked how at the end we get to see all of the people involved in creating this, all of these young people who are so creative and talented, and getting to see them kind of behind the scenes making it happen. I thought that was really special. And again, another personal touch to just like add that little extra something to make it special.
I really liked the approach the filmmakers took here. It begins with this young woman, and you sort of see things through her perspective, but then it goes much beyond that, into a larger discussion of Montana and its history and its politics. So I think the film did a great job in terms of its scope and how much it was able to cover, but then using that central figure as an entry point, as a way into the story. I thought that was just super clever.
I loved how whatever glass the director of photography was using, it really helped those colors pop, or whether they did that in post to just do color correcting, it was just stunning. And the building itself too is really, really stunning. What a great film to do about the history of this beautiful Capitol building. Um, the one of the girls who was being interviewed who had the eye condition, I'd never heard of that. So it was really interesting to hear her speaking and to listen to how she sees things through this eye condition. I thought that that was really unique. Um, I loved how the filmmakers brought in a lot of the old photographs and the newspaper articles. The photos were great to be able to see the Capitol building being done and what it looked like before to its completion and stuff like that. So I thought that that was great. Everybody who was interviewed was really interesting. It was really fun to listen to them talk and to listen to, their memories of the Capitol building and what the Capitol building meant.
I love the way that everything is stated in this film. The young lady who's at the center of it, who begins by talking about the Capitol building, and she talks about her, lack of depth perception and how the architecture is imposing to her, and then talks about how the Capitol presents history. By the end of the film, she's undergone a transformation, and she says, "I thought the way I saw the Capitol, negatively affected me, but I found that a variety of viewpoints keeps history going, and history is still going, and still changing, and still happening." It was a really nice journey. I really loved seeing the building. It's a beautiful building, and learning of the architecture and the history. And I've never been to Montana, so it's a real treat just to be able to get such an in-depth look at an important piece of the state, the state capital. So I learned a lot, and I really, really at the center of it all, the protagonist, I really appreciated her message and her journey.
I liked how they sort of introduced this sort of grand governmental capital of Montana idea with the introduction of the child. So I really liked how the child is our connector and through line throughout the entire film. That sort of makes us understand everything a lot better, but then and connects us as well, as all of these sort of grander themes are being introduced throughout the documentary. We have this sort of consistent connection throughout the film. So I really liked that choice. I liked seeing the playing on words of the people's house, and then seeing it through the people, which would be the child in this sense. So that sort of connection I think was really well done and really well made. And I enjoyed the themes that they were going through, the history, the history of Montana, and the sort of evolution of what it is now. And I really enjoyed the sort of history lesson that came with the film. I also liked how the sort of opening and closing shots with the spectators looking at the image, kind of open and close with that in the documentary. I really enjoyed that trope.
This is a very educational documentary about the Montana house being the people's house. Say, with it being done by students was not. It doesn't seem like it was made by students, so it's a surprise. Other than that, it was really well done, and it was a historical. It was a great historical film to show the history of the Montana government house, and how the Capitol came to be, and the changes that they're making in such a short film.